Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, the National Republican Party recently launched an outreach program to attract Hispanics and other voters. ASU pollster Dr. Bruce Merrill will talk about the effort. The state legislature is considering a bill that calls for performance-based education funding. We'll hear from both sides of the issue, and we'll look at Mesa's Green Barrel program, which turns yard waste into compost and mulch. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The National Republican Party yesterday unveiled a $10 million plan to go after the Hispanic vote and other demographics that went against the GOP in the last election. Here to talk about the effort is ASU pollster Dr. Bruce Merrill. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Good to be here.
Thanks for joining us. $10 million outreach effort. What's going on here?
Well, Ted, when you are the Republican Party, you cannot give away 75% of the people of color in this country and compete at a national level. And so the Republicans are really divided within their own party. Rush Limbaugh came out today and said the problem really wasn't that the Republicans need to be more concerned about the moderates in this country and about social programs. What they need to do is become even more conservative in the future. So you have this division in the Republican Party as to what needs to be done, and that doesn't bode well for the party itself.
When you look at national numbers, though, how it would seem relatively clear, Rush Limbaugh notwithstanding, that when you look nationally, further to the right is not where most folks want to go.
It's not, except that that's where the action happens in the primary system. I mean, one of the real dilemmas here, Ted, is there's a difference between the general election. You're absolutely right. When the higher the turnout, it's kind of like a bell curve. The more you're going to get people in the middle. And the extremists on both the right and the left become smaller and smaller proportions as turnout increases. But the problem, as you saw with Romney, is that for a Republican to get the nomination when you only have 25 or 30% of the Republicans voting, they have to move so far to the right that they're out of the mainstream of American politics.
Now, this particular effort by the Republican Party, this is part of a broader report trying to expand the base and trying to find out ways to win after two successive losses to President Obama. And one thing that was mentioned was fewer primaries, fewer candidates running so that they can focus the message. Makes sense?
Well, it makes sense unless a whole bunch of people want to run, as that always happens here in Arizona, of course. Yeah. And the parties get in trouble then when they try to say, well, we're going to favor one candidate over another. And so I do think, Ted, that really there's in my opinion, a lack of understanding among the Republicans as to what the problem is. The problem isn't people of color. It's not the color of your skin. It's not the fact that you're a minority. It's a fact that such a large proportion of the people in America are poor. There are many poor white people. And if the Republicans think that they're going to fix this problem with Band-Aids, by that get more Hispanic candidates like Marco Rubio or whatever, what they should be focusing on is programs that help people that don't have a lot of money to participate in the American system and to get part of the pie.
But you will hear from Republicans, and we hear from Republicans on this program all the time, that's exactly what they are doing. Business tax cuts, personal income tax cuts, getting government regulations out of the way. This frees up business to hire folks, to get job openings, and the economy steams forward.
Yeah, and that's all great. And in fact, one of the interesting things to me is you would think that a community like the Hispanic community is almost a natural Republican constituency, at least in the past. By that I mean they're social conservatives. The Republicans tend to be social conservatives. They're hardworking people that want to get ahead. And as you've said, the Republicans are saying, gee, we want to help people get ahead. But the problem is that the Republican Party, for instance, they're out now saying, well, let's extend the retirement age from 65 to 66, maybe 67. Well, that doesn't hurt people that have money, but what if you've been a working person out in the sun your whole life and you're beat up and you're tired and you don't have a lot of money? that's a pretty tough thing. So my point is that I think if you go back and look, after the Civil War, when the Republicans freed the slaves, African Americans were 100% virtually a Republican for 70 years until the Great Depression. And then when the Great Depression came, what happened is the Democrats came out with programs that helped poor people. And so I think what the Republicans don't really understand here is this isn't going to be a one election fix or a 10-year election fix. The Republicans need to take a longer view. This could take several generations before they convince people that are lower socioeconomic people that the party really cares about them.
What about an issue like immigration reform? How much movement are you seeing from the Republican Party on that? How much difference could that make?
Well, I think that's a very important one. It's very interesting and makes my point from earlier. If you really look at McCain's program for illegal immigration reform 8 years ago, it's really where we're headed now, and the Republicans need to do that. The interesting thing with the Republican Party, again, though, Ted, is the party itself is divided on even that issue in terms of the Tea Party, the Russell Pierces in Arizona, that are saying that's amnesty. You know, we can't go out and give these people a path to citizenship. So one of the real problems that I see for the Republican Party is they don't have their act together within the party. They've got to get their act together in the party before they can go out and sell a brand to the public.
And it's interesting you mentioned selling a brand, because throughout all this, what I'm curious about is whether or not Republican rank and file see these changes as the right things to do or the politically necessary things to do. And if you are part of the Latino community, do you see that as political expediency or a true change of the heart?
Well, I think that's part of the problems. The Republicans are going to have to convince the minority communities that they really can be trusted, that they really do have the interests of these people in heart. I think the best way for them to do that is with education reform. And always in America, the path to getting ahead in America is doing more than your parents did, getting a better education. And you can't, you know, this goes back to Romney's statement about the 47% that are on the public dole. And America is almost on the verge of becoming two Americas. And the report did mention this. The problem with the Republican Party, too old, too white, too wealthy. And then you've got this other 50% that don't even pay taxes in America because they're too poor to pay taxes. Mm-hmm. So you've almost like we're evolving towards two Americas, a wealthy, upper middle class, white America and a lower socioeconomic America. And the needs of those two populations are often quite different.
And real quickly, before we let you go, Republicans obviously trying to figure this out. It's interesting that on the Democratic side, we're not seeing much infighting there at all.
No, but as you and I talked before the program, political parties kind of ebb and flow.
Yes, they do.
And there's a great danger, in my opinion, for the Democratic Party, because if the Democratic Party gets too big and too successful, I can tell you what's going to happen. Yep. They're going to divide into two factions, kind of like the Republicans did, and now they're in trouble.
And we'll have you back on saying this Democratic infighting. What's going on there,
Okay,
Dr.
we'll do it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for joining us.
You bet, Ted.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an 8 Insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the 8 Insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
Governor Brewer is pushing for legislation that would tie education funding to test scores and other school performance measures. Proponents see the plan as motivation for schools to improve. Critics say the idea could hurt already struggling districts. Here to speak in favor of the bill is Dale Frost, the governor's advisor for education policy, and speaking against the measure is Dr. David Garcia, associate professor at ASU's Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's define terms here at the outset. Performance-based funding. What are we talking about?
Ted, performance-based funding is funding for districts and charters. We want to get to about 5% of funding over a 5-year period 2/3 new money, 1/3 from existing school funding. And it would be based on what's called the A through F scale, and schools and districts get a grade based on how well they're helping students to learn English and math and improve their graduation rates and those kind of things, and how many are passing the proficiency rate. So it's basically growth and proficiency, and so yeah, that would be at the district level. So it's not teacher pay, and it's not school-based funding, it's district-based funding.
And these performance, the metrics and the matrix and the whole nine, tied to tests mostly?
Primarily tied to AIMS, but there's also points that districts will get if they help English language learners to reclassify and learn English, if you reduce your dropout rates, if you increase your graduation rates.
This makes sense to you?
I think the idea of having performance involved in education definitely makes sense to me. The problem is that it's almost exclusively test scores. Even reclassifying ELL students is according to a test. The entire letter grade system is based off of making sure students do well on tests. And I think you had it right when you opened up. Most folks will call it achievement, and it's really not at the end of the day. What it is making sure that a student answers enough sort of multiple choice questions right, and incentivizing teachers and districts to continue to teach to that test.
Is that wrong?
Well, I think that if you want to get students ready for life, yeah, absolutely. What we want to do is move to an education system where we are focusing on not what students know, right? It's easy to know something. We're able to get that in the palm of our hand. The real innovative part, and I think where states want to excel and do something innovative, we need to move to what students can do. And there requires outcomes that are well beyond just a test score.
How do you respond to the idea, and we've heard this since AIMS started and even beforehand, that all this does is basically make for good test takers?
That's partially true, that if you are good at taking the test, you'll do better on AIMS, which is our state assessment right now. There are two things to consider. One is that studies have shown again and again that if you do well on a state assessment, that you have higher outcomes for income, graduation rates are up, you do better in college, and these kind of things. And we have to measure schools. And so even though it's easy to vilify the test, there have been a lot of benefits, and research has shown that it has increased student achievement outcomes, not to the extent that we want. The other piece that's important is we are moving, AIMS is going away in 2 years, and we're moving to a better test that will be, just like David was saying, that better measures critical thinking and some of those skills rather than rote memorization.
With referring to Common Core here, with Common Core on the way, does this kind of performance-based funding make better sense with a system like Common Core?
I think that, speaking as a parent for a second, if we want to get our students ready for what they can do and to be successful in life, we really want to get them to we're there to the point where they can go out and do something. There are no multiple choices in life, and there's where the problematic part is. Those research that Dale mentions, the achievement is another test. Right? So the way that we measure how things are doing on a test is we look at another test at the end of the day.
But can it be argued that, yeah, it's not perfect? You're making for better test takers. Maybe they'll be more successful in life, maybe not. But it seems to at least skew in that direction. Not perfect, but better.
Well, I'll give you a good example, for instance. If we really wanted to be innovative in Arizona, and we don't want teachers to teach to the test, then let's have a performance system that focuses on something other than tests. There would be an innovative approach to thinking about performance-based funding. If we all recognize that the test is not perfect, that there are better ways, I think we should spend our time and energy trying to figure out what they are.
Does that make sense to you? Can there be different ways to assess a student or a school's improvement?
You certainly can. And this proposal was developed with the task force under the Arizona Ready Council, and we had that conversation. Should we amend the A through F system to include more measures? And the school community at that time basically said, we're going to be moving to a better assessment. Let's not move the goalposts right now. And that's already happening somewhat. We're going to be weighting graduation rates more because of our No Child Left Behind waivers. So that's already happening.
Critics will say what you're doing right now is rewarding schools that are already succeeding, and the schools that are not doing well should be a focus as opposed to being threatened with not receiving as much funding as they otherwise would have. How do you respond to that?
I think the first part is to keep a sense of perspective. So next year, any school, worst case scenario, will have 99.7% of their funding. So it's only 1/3 of 1% that's at risk. More new dollars, and the winners win more than the losers would lose. There is a scenario where if every district improves a small amount, every district would get more money under this proposal. It's much more about competing against yourself than competing against your neighbors. And that's how the improvement side works.
Is that how you see that, competing against yourselves as opposed to someone else?
Well, that's not how testing works. Especially in these systems, you're always competing against somebody else. I can improve, but if you improve more, then I won't be able to catch up to you. So I think that's always going to be part of it. And some of this is the governor's office mentions that this is a game changer. At the end of the day, it's like Dale said, it's less than 1% of money that we're talking about here. And it also, one thing that will happen with this is wealthier districts will get more money because the underlying A through F grade system is heavily skewed toward A districts, primarily being our wealthier districts. And in many ways, what this performance funding system is doing is reinforcing the system we already have instead of doing something groundbreaking to change it in the future.
How do you respond to that? I mean, that said a lot right there. What do you think?
Well, the notion that this takes from poor districts and gives to wealthier districts is not true according to our analysis. We can't predict the future, but when you look at all districts and you compare it to poverty, there's no significant correlation between the outcomes of performance funding and poverty. And it's important, and that's because of the improvement side. We heavily weight improvement. So if you get 3 to 4 times more money if you're a D district than an A district for the same improvement.
So basically, what you're saying is, if you're starting at a lower level, the chances for it's like when job growth is a negative integer. All of a sudden, any job growth looks like it's monumental. The same thing could happen with improving schools.
Part of it is looking at the data from 11 to 12, for instance, and the same data that Dale has run. Our wealthiest districts in the first year would receive $45 per student new money, and our most impoverished districts would receive $18 under this system. And partly because the system does not weigh out in the way that I think it was intended. It does not give that much benefit to improvement.
Last question on this. There are some who say the poor school districts, the lower achieving school districts, they are there not for lack of trying. There just may be nothing they can do to improve to the point where they can get an equal or at least fair amount of this money. Is that a valid criticism?
We don't think so. Let me use an example. So Hartford and Sylvia and Cena's Elementary was the only D school within Chandler Unified School District. And Chandler put in a dynamic new principal, Heather Anguiano. That elementary school district had 98% of their students in poverty. That principal rallied her teachers together. They got parents on board. They looked at their school day and found prioritized 45 minutes of that time towards math skills and reading skills. In 1 year, that poor school went from a D school to an A. So to say that poor schools can't improve, we don't think that's true. We're not saying that they're not working hard, but there are policies often in these failing schools that are actually counterproductive to students.
So regardless of the situation, improvement can be had.
Absolutely, but remember, this is a district level measure. It's not a school level measure. And you can expect, if you look at the data, you can expect Chandler to move less than a point. The largest school districts in our state moved less than a point because they're so big. And so that's going to be a real challenge because this is a district level measure. It's not a school level measure.
All right, we got to stop it right there. Great conversation. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Ted. Appreciate it.
Feeling better now that we're
Tonight's Focus on Sustainability looks at Mesa's efforts to turn yard waste from neighborhoods into compost and mulch. Here to tell us more about the Green Barrel program is Mariana Reyes with the City of Mesa. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
The Green Barrel program, give us an overview.
Okay. Basically, the Green Barrel program, the City of Mesa, it's an opportunity for residents, instead of sending their green waste material to the landfill where it'll just be buried, they can actually have the opportunity to have it composted and turned into mulch and used for gardening purposes.
What kind of yard waste are we talking about here?
We're primarily talking of leaves, grass, small branches, your normal green yard waste that you would generate while you're doing your normal landscaping activities.
Like this poor son of a gun mowing his lawn, and she's not trimming the hedge there, and
Correct.
you put it into the, is this a special barrel? Is this a barrel that's used for other things or just for yard waste?
Yeah, the Green Barrel, it's specifically designated for Green Barrel yard waste, and that would be the only type of material that would go into the container, and it does go in there unbagged. And that's just to assist in the composting process.
So no bag and tie here, huh?
No bag and tie. If you're putting your material in the black trash barrel, you would have to bag and tie it.
Yes.
But for the Green Barrel, because of the way that they're going to have to process it, the bags would interfere with the decomposition of the material, so there's no need for the bag.
And we saw it there put on the street alleys as well, same...
In Mesa, we don't have alley collection. Everything is curbside.
Everything, okay.
Yeah, at the
All
front.
right.
And basically, it's put out there once a week along with the blue recycle barrel.
So same day as the blue recycle barrel?
Correct. So if you're participating in Mesa's recycling program and you have a green barrel, you put both barrels out on the same day before 6 o'clock. Our drivers will come down, service the container, and you're good to go.
Now, is the same driver coming down for both barrels, or we got all sorts of drivers coming down the street here on that day?
It's two different trucks. One truck is gathering all the recyclables from the blue barrel, and the other one is from the green waste container. So a lot of times we do have residents that will contact us and say, hey, I saw the driver come down, and he missed, he got one of my barrels but forgot the other one.
Yeah.
And we have to kind of remind them they're two separate vehicles that are going down the neighborhood.
And this is once a week, all year long?
Correct. It is available year-round, and it's once a week. So if a resident, they mowed their lawn, they need to have their yard waste picked up, we'll go ahead and pick it up.
How much do residents have to pay for this particular service?
This service, it's an additional $5.51 per month, which is a very reasonable cost, considering that if they were going to need an additional black trash barrel to dispose of their yard waste, they have to pay $11 a month. So it's actually half the cost. So there is some financial incentive for residents to recycle their green yard waste.
And this is what, $5.51 a month, but I thought I read that you have to keep the service for 6 months. Is that true?
Correct.
Why is that?
The reason why we ask residents to keep the barrel is, obviously we have to run our routes, and if we have to keep altering our routes based on the amount of containers that are out there, it wouldn't make us as efficient. So we ask that residents keep the containers for a minimum of 6 months, which is perfect because, here in Arizona, from March through all the way through October is prime season for landscaping needs. So it serves the purpose of our population.
Okay, so it's all collected, it's in the barrel. Where does and it gets thrown into the truck there, where does it all go?
Once it's collected from the curb, our trucks will take the material directly over to the Salt River landfill. They actually have a special area on the site that's a green waste processing facility. So our trucks will dump the material there, and then that begins the process where they do the composting.
And the idea, I read that it extends the life of the landfill. What's that all about?
Well, where normally if we were servicing the material and picking it up with our regular trash material, any of those things would go to the landfill and get buried. Well, now what's happening is that would start taking up valuable space that otherwise could be used for material that could not be recycled, whether it couldn't go in the blue barrel, whether it couldn't go in the green barrel. So we're keeping that material out of the landfill and just using the cells at the landfill for material that cannot be diverted in any other manner.
Participation rate, what are you seeing there, and did that meet expectations?
Yeah, the program has been available since 1997, and about 1/3 of the city participates in the Green Barrel program, which is equivalent to about 36,000 households, single-family households out there that have a green barrel on their property and are using it.
I would think since 1997, if you've known about it for that long and you haven't done it by now, you probably decided you either do want it or you don't want it. And
Correct.
You move. Was it modeled after anything else? Any other cities doing this?
We are the only city in the state of Arizona to offer this program, so it's something that's one of our point of prides.
Yes.
We're really excited that we can always talk about our Green Barrel program, and our residents really embrace the program and they like it. As far as participation goes, It makes sense for some residents if they have a lot of green waste being generated on their property, and others with more of the desert landscaping may not have such a need for it.
Well, it sounds like a great program. Congratulations and continued success. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.